Hi, Columbus community. We are back from executive session and we will continue with our board agenda. We are now at item 7, public hearing on reemployment of retired employees. Item 7.1 is public hearing on the reemployment of Bruce E. Nicely. I believe that there is no one here to speak on this for this public hearing. Is that correct, Board Liaison Nichols?
Correct.
Thank you. So at this time, we will conclude the public hearing for Bruce E. Nicely. The next is the public hearing 7.2 on the reemployment of Grace M. I messed this up last time. Marskico. I messed it up. I know. I'm so sorry. And I believe there's also no one here to speak for this public hearing. Is that correct, Board Liaison Nichols?
Correct.
Thank you. And that will conclude this public hearing. Item 8, notice of public hearing on the reemployment of retired employees. We are 8.1, notice of public hearing on reemployment of Michael S. McCammon. Pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 3309.345, the Columbus Board of Education gives notice that Michael S. McCammon, Executive Director, who will retire from the Columbus City Schools effective December 31st, 2020, is seeking employment with the Columbus City Schools as Executive Director effective January 4th, 2021. The board will hold a public hearing on December 15th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. in the Assembly Room of the Columbus Education Center at 270 East State Street, Columbus, Ohio, or a location designated for the public meeting on that date of the Board of Education, or virtually in the case of the continued pandemic on the issue of Mr. McCammon's reemployment. We have noticed that for December 15th. We will now move to item 9, the Superintendent's Executive Report. We will continue with your report from earlier. Madam Superintendent.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, just a second. My screen.
Dr. Dixon, we can see it. It's on your opening screen or your opening slide.
Okay. I don't see it. So you can see it from, you can see my screen or Scott's screen?
Well, we can see Scott's. It looks like it's Scott's screen.
Okay, gotcha. All right, my apologies. It's kind of, it always does that when Scott shares his screen, my screen goes crazy, so I apologize. Oh, just a second. Scott, just keep yours up. I apologize. I'm working on my. Okay, so thank you, President Adair. I have several updates to share with the board tonight. And first, I would like to introduce our newest member of my leadership team, Dr. Terry Breden. Dr. Breden will serve our district as the interim chief academic officer for the remainder of the 2021 school year as we conduct a national search for a long-term candidate. Dr. Breden's extensive resume as an educator and leader speaks for itself. She is a Central Ohio native who has spent decades working in the school districts in Tennessee, Virginia, and Ohio. Most recently, Dr. Breden served as the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction for Shaker Heights School District in Northeast Ohio. She retired from Shaker Heights in 2019. She also served as an Assistant Superintendent with Loudoun County Public Schools and Fairfax County Public Schools in Virginia. And she spent 20 years in Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools as a teacher, principal, and curriculum administrator. Dr. Breden's experience will be an asset to our district as she leads the academic services team during these uncertain times amidst a global pandemic. Beyond just operating and teaching in a virtual environment, we have many academic initiatives ready to implement this year, from our new ELA and math curriculum to our recent PDK curriculum management audit to the upcoming strategic planning process. I'm excited for Dr. Breden to join our team and help lead our district through these critical times. Welcome, Dr. Breden. Our partnership registry. During this COVID crisis, our students and families have benefited greatly from support of our community partners. Everyone on this board has frequently mentioned the remarkable work and generosity of organizations and individuals throughout our city who answered the call to step up. And we're often recognized for the great work of our new Department of Engagement. Tonight, we're set to take another significant step forward in our strategic engagement efforts. Since the inception of the Department of Engagement, a question that has often been asked but never answered is, exactly how many partners does Columbus City Schools really have? We know it's hundreds, but no exact number. We also know that for our engagement efforts to truly be the most impactful for the success and support of our students, we need to know that those partners are linked and aligned. That's why the Department of Engagement is set to launch our long-awaited partnership registry. We had hoped to launch it last year, but technical challenge combined with the pandemic put our efforts on hold. During that time, our engagement team worked closely with our technology office to come up with an impressive online registry. And now we're ready to invite our partners to step up and officially register with us. This partnership registry will be more than a list, though it'd be nice to have an official listing on our website. This registry will give us real insight and information on the types of services our partners are providing, how many students they're actually serving, and which areas of the district they're working in. Most importantly, it would help us identify the gaps and overlaps in efforts so that we can be more equitable in our partnership efforts across all parts of our district and for all students who need and deserve support. We will officially launch the partnership registry on Saturday, October 10th, a date that symbolizes an equal partnership, 10-10. Also, we will use that 10-10 date to begin a monthly series of partnership appreciation days on 10-10, then 11-11, then 12-12. And so on. Our engagement team will work with our communications team to post and spotlight several of our community partners each month, our way of proclaiming our partnerships and saying thank you to those organizations who did step up and who continue to make a difference in the lives of our students and their families. Speaking of partnerships, we're excited to announce a new partnership this week with Ohio Dominican University that would be a great benefit to our CCS staff members and their families. Ohio Dominican will offer CCS teachers, staff, and administrators, as well as their spouses and dependents, an opportunity to complete a wide range of graduate degrees at a discounted rate. As the educational partner with Ohio Dominican, CCS employees, spouses, and dependents will be able to take advantage of the following benefits: waived application fee to Ohio Dominican University, ability to take as many as 3 master level courses tuition free, flexible start dates, and the option to attend class on ODU's campus during the evening, online, or possibly on site at a CCS location. This new partnership aligns with our goal to recruit, develop, and retain world-class educators here in Columbus City Schools. Any staff members who are interested or want more information should contact our Department of Human Resources. Finally, I would like to finally, we had a change in our program tonight. We were going to have Dr. Mike Casserly and his team to present our HR audit findings, but we've made a change in that schedule, and we will bring Dr. Casserly rather, and his team back next month. So that concludes my superintendent's report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions on the superintendent's report? All right. Seeing none, we will move to the next agenda item, and that is the report of the internal auditor. Hello, Mr. O'Connor.
Good evening, President Adair, board members. I would like to provide a brief update of the Auditor of State report and management letter comments for fiscal year 2019. So I'm going to share my screen here. Hopefully everybody can see that. Okay, our office updates prior fiscal year Auditor of State comments by identifying the finding number, finding description, process owner, and implementation dates. In addition, our office also determines the following: is the management corrective action plan effective? The likelihood of the Auditor of State comments repeating in the following fiscal year. Did the comment repeat? And we also provide a brief explanation of the comments that we believe have a high likelihood of repeating in the upcoming audit. So on this slide, you'll see the 2019 finding number. It's report 1 and 2. They both deal with the exact same situation, and that's the Kronos system supervisor approval of time cards. And the reason there's 2 comments is the Auditor of State has to report 1 on the internal controls over financial reporting, and then they have to repeat that same comment if it affects major federal programs, and in this case it did. We have determined that this comment should not repeat in fiscal year 20 and our fiscal year 20 audit. Our office reviewed Kronos data for all 26 pay periods for fiscal year 2020 and noted an average approval rate of 98%. So in the 2019 audit, it was 8.4% delinquent or not approved on time, and now that's down to 2%. So we feel that's a pretty good indication that that will not repeat in the upcoming Auditor of State audit. The next slide deals with management letter comments, and there were 3 of those, and our office believes there is high likelihood of 1 of the 3 comments repeating for fiscal year 2020. And that 1 comment is timely deposits, and that is because consistent application of current procedures is still an issue at the building level, excuse me. But the other 2, the internal controls at WCBE, that has a low likelihood, and the federal grants expenditure process, those are basically corrections that are not made timely, and it just depends on what their sample polls, if that is going to repeat. But again, we don't think that will, so we're rating that one as low also. That concludes the update of the prior year Auditor of State comments. Any questions that anybody might have?
Thank you. Before there's questions, would either of the audit co-chairs like to add anything before questions?
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, sir, for providing this information for us. I do want to thank our especially Mr. Bohoric and those persons within our administration that have been working so very hard to make the improvements that we've seen over the years that we've discussed, and we're really trying to set a culture of correction where it is needed. And Mr. O'Connor spoke about that in what he presented in his report today. So especially thank you to Stan for his staff for a lot of the things that they are doing, and also to Scott Var and his work with WCBE, which has been just a very long-term effort. But you see the results of a lot of hard work for some folks inside this district that are working to improve our daily processes. And I'm very proud of that. My last announcement is the next meeting of the Audit and Accountability Committee will occur on October 29th. That is a Thursday at 3:30 p.m. We will meet in person at 270 East State Street in the Cabinet Room. So if you'd like to attend and see what Kevin and our internal auditor are doing on a day-to-day basis, please join us at 3:30 on October 29th. And I don't know if Co-Chair Beckerly has other comments, but thank you for the opportunity, Board President.
Board Member Beckerly, you do have a comment?
No, I don't have anything at this time.
Okay. Are there other questions from the board? All right. Seeing none, thank you so much, Mr. O'Connor. Always nice to have you fill in.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we will now move to item 11, which is the report of the treasurer. Hello, Mr. Treasurer. Do you have a report
Board
this
President
evening?
Adair, how are you?
I'm okay. Do you have a report this evening?
I really don't have a report. Thank you, Board Member Ragland, for the compliment. That all lies with my staff and the work that they've done. It's a good example of dedicating resources to those issues to make those changes and effectively removing those items from the audit report. No report from me this evening, just a comment that we will have a Finance and Appropriations Committee meeting on a week from tomorrow on the 14th. I didn't know ANA was going back to in-person meetings, but Board Member Cole and I have not talked about meeting together in person. So we're going to go virtual until you hear otherwise. We'll have a Zoom meeting set up for the 14th, and that is at 4 p.m. sharp.
Thank you. And so let me just pop in about in-person meetings. So it is the intention to go back to trying, we're going to call them hybrid meetings, as soon as our students, our CCS scholars, step foot in our buildings for hybrid. We do need to make sure that all safety protocol for these hybrid meetings are followed. And my preference is that we use our bigger space at 3,700 because we can spread out bigger. So if you're interested in any of your committees to start in that, so basically people that are essential can be in person, but we still have participation via this forum, virtual. We are working that out. I actually had a conversation with Board Liaison Nichols, and so we'll provide more guidance about how to do that and the ways we're going to do that safely for everyone. So thank you for that random reminder so I could tell you all. Were there any comments from the finance co-chairs? No? Okay. All right, we will now move to item 12, board matters. We are going to have the first reading of the omnibus amendment. So I'm going to turn it over to Board Member Brown, who chairs the Policy Review Committee.
Thank you. And since it's fresh and just spoken about, Policy Review Committee, which is presenting 5 policies for first reading this evening is meeting this week on Thursday, October 8th at 8:30, and we will be meeting virtually. And I too look forward to meeting in person as soon as we can do that safely. And I think that the hard part will be when seeing people to refrain from hugging and things of that sort. It's been a long time. In any case, we've got 5 policies here for first reading. The first is 1615, dealing with use of tobacco. And that policy is pertains to administrators and simply mirrors the policies that are already in place for professional staff and for classified staff. It's not really any change. It's simply correcting the omission. The next is 2464, which pertains to gifted education and identification. And this one simply adds emphasis to certain requirements. The requirement specifically to provide an opt-out of services for students, and it addresses the need to follow prescribed timelines. The current policy does it. This is not really a change in policy, but this is comes from Neola, and they're looking for greater specificity, so it does that. The next is 3120.04, pertaining to employment of substitutes. The revisions to this one reflect changes made for substitute teaching licenses. The law changed modestly, and as a result, the policy language needed to be made along with that. Same thing for 4120, which deals with the same issue as to classified staff. Licensure requirements have changed slightly, and we just make a corresponding change. None of those policies were in any way controversial or raised issues, even though the Policy Review Committee likes to be diligent, even as diligent as the committee is. There was really nothing here that warranted much discussion. The next policy is new entirely, and it's policy 8000. And this one pertains to states of emergency. This was not something that anybody necessarily gave much thought to before March. But since that time, we've learned a great deal. And this simply allows the superintendent under fairly tight restrictions to declare a state of emergency for well-defined situations that involve imminent threat of welfare or safety of students or employees, and include declarations made by the city, the state, or the federal government. And there's a procedure, and there's safeguards, and it's pretty well worked out. The committee did a lot of discussion and work, and I think what's presented here is a very straightforward piece that addresses these matters. And unless there are questions, these are all available to you, and they'll be back at the next meeting for a second reading and adoption. Any questions now?
Looks like there's no questions, but board
Wonderful.
members, after you review, if you do have questions, please send those to Board Member Brown and Dr. Roush. and they can, get those answered or changes incorporated before the next reading.
Great. And I should have asked earlier, Dr. Roush, if I got anything not quite right, please go ahead and correct me publicly. It's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, this will constitute the first reading of the omnibus amendment to board policy. Thank you so much, Board Member Brown. All right, board members, we are now going to be voting on our consent agenda. The consent agenda this evening, that looks like a typo, Misty. I think it's 13.1 to 28.3. That's what constitutes our consent agenda this evening. Does any board member wish to make a motion to remove any item from the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on any item on the consent agenda? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Dr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Ragland,
Yes.
President Adair.
Yes, with the exception of 24.1 on which I abstain.
Ms. Beckerly, Ms. Beckerly, just raise your hand to indicate yes. Okay, there we go. Thank you. That motion carries.
Thank you so much. We will now move into board announcements. Board members, do you have any announcements this evening you would like to make? Okay, so we will go with Board Member Beckerly, then Board Member Brown. I have some. Anyone else? Okay, so Board Member Beckerly, we'll start with you.
Okay, I think Scott Wortman's going to help me with my video. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Happily, I have some more examples of our CCS community rising up. Okay, these people, exclusive of me, are Myra Talley from our a supervisor in our ESL department, and Mike Nicholson from Battelle for Kids. And I want to give them a rise up acknowledgement because they were working on Sunday when this screenshot was taken to get the surveys for our Safe Schools Working Group, the Safe Schools Survey, translated into multiple foreign languages so that we can get more input from our community. All right, Scott, if you wouldn't mind. And to give a plug for our Safe Schools Working Group, we're going to show you the video that our chairman and Dr. Dixon, some of our students put together to encourage participation. And I believe, as I speak, our board liaison, Misty, is putting the link to the survey in the comments. So Scott, if we could hit the, there we go. In the public comments on Facebook, I meant to say.
Every day I walk into my school, I like a positive environment. That's what makes me feel safe.
A safe school for me is no bullying and no cuss words.
Safe school is when no one fights and no one gets hurt.
Safe school for me is no bullying, no fighting, do what you're supposed to, get good grades, and that's it.
Safe schools for me have safe people, safe teachers, and a good community.
Safe school for everybody. They should be protected, and they should get good grades, and they should be doing their homework good.
Hello, Columbus community. I want to remind you that there is still time to submit your feedback about the safety, security, culture, and climate of all Columbus City School buildings. The information we receive from you will help inform the Safe Schools Working Group, which will present recommendations to the Columbus Board of Education this fall.
I'm Kimberly Mason, a proud parent of Columbus City Schools.
And I'm Charlita Tavares, a proud alum of Eastmore High School. And we are the co-chairs of the Safe Schools Working Group. We are dedicated and invested in the emotional and physical well-being of our students, staff, teachers, and administrators for CCS. And now that you've heard from our superintendent and our students,
we need to hear from you. Please complete the survey in the link on your screen.
So, and two more things, everyone, if you haven't submitted this, completed this survey, please do. Teachers, staff, every classified staff, we need the entire community's input in order for our working group to be able to make an informed decision or recommendations for us. So please share complete the survey and share it as well. The other thing, I am totally remiss. That video was brought to you by the incredible work of our communications team, Scott Wortman and Tyler from his staff, who did an incredible job on a very short time frame. And we are grateful to everyone who's working to help us get the input we need in order to have the working group do the job that we are asking them to do. So thank you. Okay, this is the next one. This is kind of cool. Amy Bonner is a math teacher at Whetstone, and it turns out that she is demonstrating how you use technology in an incredibly effective way that you might not ordinarily be able to do it. So what she does is she sends videos to parents or to students or to anyone who's asking questions and talks them through their question using a video. And in this case, it's about getting acclimated to the new platforms, but it's an incredibly effective use of technology. It gets out the need to be able to write and to read, and if a picture says 1,000 words, a video says 10,000 words. So I want to give you a sample of how powerful this way of communicating is in terms of with our families and our parents. And even, it eliminates a lot of the barriers that have existed before in terms of communication. So take it away, Scott. We'll just watch a bit of it.
Good morning, parents. I wanted to walk you through our classroom this year, give you a sense of where and how your students are accessing their classwork, and then how where you can go to look to best support your student and make sure that they are staying on task and keeping up with their work. So the particular class I'm going to focus on is our first period algebra class here at Whetstone, and they will start their day in Google Classroom. That's where they'll sort of go to find their work. So they start at the front page. They're going to click on classwork. You'll notice that all of their weeks are, I'm filing all of their assignments by week. That seems to help keep them better organized in the world of virtual. Their resources, if there's something that I need them to be able to access whenever, will be up top. And then each of their weeks are filed, and they can find their individual assignments. So as an example, I'm going to focus on this particular week here, 9/28 through 10/4. You'll notice that the dates of the week always run Monday through Sunday. Monday is the beginning of our week. We'll be working on these things throughout the week, and then I give them up through Sunday to get those items done. If for some reason they're having internet challenges, stuff's coming up throughout the week, they will have that ability to get those items completed throughout the weekend. So on this particular week, on Monday, we were working on a textbook lesson. I'll show you more about that on the textbook specifically, but they would open up the lesson, or they would open up the assignment. These are their click strokes to get to the location of their assignment. Start at Clever, Miss Bonner's page, McGraw-Hill is our textbook publisher, and then they'll choose their Reveal Algebra 1 book. I will give them some directions for how to or what I want them to do. And then I also attach a video where I've pre-recorded me working.
I mean,
Carol, you muted yourself.
sorry. Anyway, I just thought that was a really incredible example of technology closing all kinds of gaps, and I thought it was worth sharing. And thank you to Ms. Bonner for giving us some insight into the power of these tools now that we have them. Okay, and the last example of CCS rising up is Latrice Jones, who apparently has the nickname in Region 2 of being the diva of data. And what Ms. Jones did was offer evening sessions. She called them Reconnect sessions to all of the secretaries in her region with the purpose of going over changes to Infinite Campus, answering attendance questions, and doing an overall wellness check and making sure everyone could see each other in a socially safe and distant way. And these were incredibly well received. So Scott, if you click to the next one, because we're going to also celebrate all of the secretaries who went to the evening sessions. We have Deanna Hanna from Oakmont Elementary, Daphne Mason from Leawood Elementary, Brenda Jackson from Columbus Iota, Samuel Woodward III from Independence High School, Yolanda Drew, Independence High School, April McElroy, Independence High School, Rebecca Caramal from East Haven Elementary, Nanette Carr from Walnut Ridge High School, Tanya Hill, Walnut Ridge, Tina Hunter, Walnut Ridge, Yolanda Morgan, Columbus Preparatory School for Boys, Jaleesa Moss, Johnson Park Middle, Rosea West, Johnson Park Middle, Judy Walker, Sherwood Middle, Bonita Search, Yorktown Middle, Yolanda Towns, Yorktown Middle. Barbara Blake from Beatty Park Elementary. Ms. Blake has been in the district for 30 years. Can you imagine all of the changes in technology she has lived through? And she was the one who tipped me off to the nickname Diva for data. Robbie Banks from Broadley Elementary, Kelly Westbrook from East Haven, Dara Ikes, I hope I said that right, from Fairmore, Keisha Woodson from Liberty Elementary, Tracy Ritchie from Liberty Elementary, and Rakia Elder from Old Orchard Elementary. And that's it. So once again, thank you, Columbus City Schools, for rising up.
Thank you for sharing those, Carol. I certainly learned some stuff from the video about how to navigate Google Classroom, so I probably need to finish watching it. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, we will go to Board Member Brown.
Thank you. And I too enjoyed the videos, so that's great. There's just two items that I wanted to mention, and they are both incredibly important for all of us and everybody in the listening audience. First is voting is underway. As of today, you can go in person to the Board of Elections and vote. And it is very easy to do. And they have taken great precautions to make sure that everybody will be safe and healthy and not become infected by COVID as you vote. There will be voting available for lots of hours between now and November 3rd, Election Day. If you'd rather vote in person on Election Day, please do that. If you'd like, you can still request an absentee ballot by mail and receive that and fill it out and send it back. But there hasn't been an election in my lifetime that may be more important than the one underway right now. And please, when you do go vote, however you do it, remember to vote the entire ballot. Oftentimes judges get forgotten about. Sometimes it's school board members that are at the end of ballots. There are no school board members on the ballot this year anywhere in Ohio, but please do that as well. You can get more information at the Franklin County Board of Elections. Secondly, through the outstanding legal work of some folks around the country, the courts have declared the census will remain open for additional people to be counted through the end of this month, through the end of October. That's important. While the count in Ohio hasn't been bad, there's lots of room for improvement. And as I think everybody here in this audience knows, the census and being counted, getting this right, affects millions of dollars that come to schools based upon population, that come to regions based upon population. And it is incredibly important that you be counted, and it's very easy to do. You can do it online. So please make sure that you and everybody who you can reach out to takes advantage of the opportunity to be counted. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will now go to Dr. Pierce.
Thank you very much. So first, I want to thank all of our educators in the Digital Academy. I've had the great pleasure of interacting with a number of those educators. You have been working long hours to ensure that you're advancing student learning in our district. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. My second thank you is to all our parents and community members who have been writing us emails and advocating for students. Some of those emails point out our challenges and issues, but there's also emails that encourage us and cheer us on when we are doing positive things. So thank you to all our parents and community advocates for keeping that line of communication open, for trusting your board to deliver messages, to ask the tough questions. We are here to serve you, and we appreciate your engagement. Another thank you to our athletes, coaches, our bands, the South High School ROTC, our cheerleaders, security officers. I think I tried to hit up every football game that we have played during regular season, and I saw all of our students absolutely giving their hearts out. Even when they lost, they were happy because they were with their peers. They were doing something that they love. They had the community cheering them on, as well as their family members. And so I want to, one, just say congratulations on a great regular season, and two, encourage everybody to cheer our teams on as they move into the state playoffs. Some of our teams are taking that challenge on, and they're going to play a number of OCC schools, some of those schools that everybody says is really good. Our schools are really, really good, and we're ready to take on that challenge. So, hey, we are cheering you on and can't wait to see you all win. I want to also say today is the first day of voting, and it's so very important that we not forget the socio-political context in which we live. Jonathan Price was murdered this week, a Black man working and supporting and advocating in our community. Our students are living this reality. Our students are living this reality. Take the time to have a conversation with one of our young people, to just check in and see how they feel about not just what they see in their communities, but also their ideas for improving the future. It is a true disservice if we dismiss and don't engage our young people in helping us to craft and create the ideas to improve not just our school system, not just the city of Columbus, but the world. So please, I implore all of you to have a conversation with our young people about what's going on in this world and how we can fix it. And after you have that conversation, commit to do something to change it. Commit to do something to change it. Again, thank you so much to the entire community. Please continue to support our Columbus City School students as we continue to advance student learning.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pierce. And on that note, and in conjunction with what Board Member Beckerly was talking about, our students are receiving through their social studies teachers surveys for the Safe School Working Group. And because it is essential that we have your feedback, students, we really want to encourage you to take it. And we want to thank the teachers who are incorporating that into their lessons as a real world point of you know, how democracy works and how government works, because youth voices in this are critical. And so please, students, please take a minute and complete that survey. Your voices are absolutely essential to this. I want to thank the students who are participating on that group, and all of the community members and our co-chairs who are taking the time and volunteering to really help create recommendations that are going to move us forward in the area of school safety. That group meets on October 15th at 6 p.m. You can watch them on live stream, and that will be their next meeting. I also want to put in a kind of a shout out, a plug, whatever you want to call it. We have started the facility master plan process, and there is an application right now out there to seek community members. So if you are interested in working on the facility master plan, you can go to the district website to find that application. It's also been posted on social media. I know I just shared it earlier today. The deadline to apply is October 18th at 11:59 p.m. So you have all day on the 18th. If you aren't interested, but you know somebody whose voice we need in a community that we need, please encourage others to participate in this. It's extremely, extremely important. And the last announcement I want to share is I just always like to highlight our graduates. And so tonight we approved several diplomas for the Ohio 22 plus adult high school education. And so I'm not going to read them, but I'm proudly putting them up on the screen, congratulating you for receiving your CCS diploma for graduation. So congratulations, graduates, and we are so excited for you. So we will, maybe we can share those on social media, since Misty made me this beautiful little slide. So congratulations. Those are the announcements that I have. I think, James, Board Member Regland, did you have something? Okay. Any other announcements this evening? Okay, well, seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
You may. I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
There's a second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Dr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Ragland,
Yes.
President Adair,
Yes.
Ms. Beckerly,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
and Mr. Cole.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you so much. Thank you, CCS community. Thank you, all of our wonderful staff. We have a lot of work to continue to do. You will be hearing lots more communication from us, and we are all in this together to move forward for our CCS scholars. So good night, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Night. Thank you.
Good night.